You want to hear me talk about Taylor from the Gilmore Girls? My name is Gina. I'm an author, editor, publishing professional. I help you make your writing better. Taylor is a really great example of someone who is an antagonist, but not a villain. He is not evil. He is not vile. He is not trying to destroy the world or hurt children or puppies. He is just a really annoying guy who his goals are in opposition to our protagonist or to our main characters. Lorelai and Rory are co-protagonists of the series. They are the one who we are rooting for. They are the ones who change over the course of the series, and the change in them is directly correlated to the arc within the story. We do have some other main characters, people like Suki and Luke, and people who are in every single episode and who are very important to the story, but they are not the protagonist of the story. And so sometimes Taylor is butting heads with Lorelai, sometimes he is butting heads with Luke. He is there as a colorful character in the background. He is not a primary character. Most of the story could be carried off without him, and in fact, we could skip over almost every single Taylor storyline and Lorelai and Rory's arcs would still be full and complete. He just adds a lot of character and a lot of interest to the story. There are other characters in Stars Hollow who do this as well, but they are colorful background characters. And so when we are talking about building characters within your story, you do definitely need to have a protagonist who is usually also going to be your main character and your point of view character. But then you do not always necessarily have to have a villain or one single antagonist. Lorelai and Rory have several antagonists. Paris is an antagonist, Taylor is an antagonist, Emily shows up as an antagonist as well. But Paris and Emily also can be on the side of our protagonist. They can be allies for them as well. This is one of the really great fun things about writing something that is a long form story like 7 years of a TV show is that you get to really explore the dynamics between these characters rather than having them be just one thing. I think you'd have a hard time finding an episode in which I agree with Taylor about almost anything. I think that he's kind of a butthead most of the time, and I would not want to be friends with him at all. But he's not a villain. He's an antagonist. His goals are at cross purposes with Lorelai's, putting them to have conflict between the two of them. And when it is not a conflict between him and Lorelai, it is a conflict between him and Luke. In fact, I would actually take a guess. I would have to go back and count episodes. I think he is Luke's antagonist more often than he is Lorelai's antagonist, and some of the times Lorelai just gets sort of like roped into that drama, and she's the one that has to smooth things over and fix things for them. Even though he's a minor character, he is definitely the protagonist of his own story. Taylor behaves in a way that is very consistent with Taylor. If we were to create a spin-off with him as the protagonist, well, I don't think that it would do very well because he's not a very likable character, but he does behave consistently. We can guess pretty clearly what his goals would be within that story, and it's probably not one that you or I are going to agree with, but they did a good job of writing this character to feel like he's the main character of his own story. It's just not the story that we are watching right now.